This video is brought to you by Ravenscraft Realty of Northeast Missouri. Judging by the way the pavement looks, it's not raining now, but it was very, very recently. Some of you may recognize this stretch of Highway 54, or I guess that's the bypass of Highway 54 that goes around Mexico. And I am actually heading home right now, and it is a Thursday, so that's a little out of the ordinary. I've been trying to sell my John Deere 1000 cultivator, and I got a guy who wanted to buy it, and he wanted to buy it right now. So at 8 o'clock this morning, I got a text from him like, hey, I want it, and I want it now. So I got in my car and I started driving, and I've got about 50 minutes left till I get home. Hopefully it doesn't get there before I do. It'll be a little awkward. Right north of Ladonia, there's a field of corn that is completely out of the ground. It's impressive. I got the whole cultivator taken apart and ready to get put on the guy's trailer. Old boy's coming from Moberly, I believe, and I hope he's happy with it. I'm not gonna miss it too much. I'm getting something better anyways. I can't wait to show you. No more field cultivator. She's gone. A friend of mine named Clayton from Northwest Missouri, he works for MFA now. He's gonna be driving the truck by real quick, and I hate to let a good friend drive by the Goldinger farmstead and not get a wave. Here the old boy comes. We're in awfully close proximity to the park. And I've got the seed tender here behind me, and Dad has just started planting the park farm that I rent, and I want to, I guess, be there for some of my crop being planted. Unfortunately, I lost the some pieces there at Withers Mill, and I didn't get to plant those with the 4020 in my planter, so maybe not this year, maybe next year we'll get to do something. These fields here up on the hill are more of a clay-ish kind of soil, but it looks like they worked down pretty nice. Unfortunately, the park told me that I could not take out the row of trees in the field. Maybe next year though. Actually, it's highly unlikely that that'll ever happen because they took out some trees at the top of the hill and people did not like that. So I doubt that they're gonna let Farmer Chase take out these trees here at the bottom of the hill. There are 5 fields here, 3 in the bottom and then 2 up on the hill. And Dad is he's off way back there in the back planting right now, just putting on the first set of end rows. Looks like this is gonna plant really, really nice. The clods are relatively mellow, plenty of moisture in the ground. We're over halfway done with the park farm here, and we're gonna put more seed in the planter. Okay, we got seed in the planter. Now it's time to go. I won't be gone for very long, but I will be back tomorrow. I got Dad's truck moved, and of course Mom right here to give me a report. What do we have here? A 4020 and a disc. Well, I can't say that's not a familiar sight. Riddle me this, Batman. Who was in Paris? By center, we have an 8300 and a gigantic Rome offset disc. That has to pull really hard. Oh my gosh. I finally got myself lined out, and I am planting here in the bottom. It's a 140 acre field. Things are going pretty smoothly. As soon as I got home, I jumped in the 345 here, came down to the bottom. I put fuel and death in it before I left because the Thunder Creek trailer is about empty down here in the bottom. Just been pulling out of it here the past couple days. J-Dog's been doing a lot of tillage. He ran over this ground twice with the Diamond Harrow, and it worked down pretty nice. I came down and I planted my first pass of end rows, and unbeknownst to me, row 21 was not planting for about half of my end rows. Unfortunately, that's the half that everybody could see. So I'm gonna have to go back and just run the one row over where it was supposed to be planting and hope for the best. Really inconvenient, but that's what happens with central commodity planters sometimes. I'm zipping right along at about 8.5 to 9 miles an hour, just kind of whatever the tractor's willing to do. Pulling it, we're using most of the 345 horse we've got. I think you can see it down there in the bottom of my tanks, but I'm about out of seed. So when I get up here to the end, I'm gonna go to the truck and get seed. I'm not actually sure if the brake controller on my truck is working because it really didn't feel like it going down the road. And that needs to work if I'm gonna be pulling around 100 units of beans in a seed tender, because I don't wanna end up in the ditch with a flipped over pickup. How awesome is it that I get to do this for a living? It's pretty awesome. When there's no neighbors, can you really play the who's gonna turn their lights on last game? Ah, come on, J-Dog. That's rough as heck. Now this is the last of this 3.5 number going in the planter here. Gonna stop it when I got 1,800 pounds left, and I'll put the rest of it in this hopper. I did finish the field without having to stop and fill up again, so that's excellent. And this is 144 acres, so not bad for not starting until like 5 o'clock, but I did pretty good for today. I'm pretty happy. All right, let's go home and eat pigs in a blanket, because that's what Mom made. This does not look like a John Deere planter at all. This is one of the Fendt Momentum 24 rows. This is actually a neighbor of ours, and he told me I could stop and look at it. Just a very unique looking planter. It's certainly different from anything else on the market. And this one has the narrow gauge wheels. Got Yetter spike closing wheels, precision planting meters. I'm pulling it with a Fendt 942. Just a very, very unique setup. So he said, the guy that runs this, he said it fluxes over terraces really nice. But I don't know. It's just different. Very, very interesting to me as a John Deere 1770 and 1790 person. I mean, that's all we've ever ran, other than a DV planter in the early 2000s when we did narrow row corn. But I mean, there's only a handful of these planters around, or at least around us. There may be more elsewhere, but Northeast Missouri, not very many Fendt Momentums. There's another shot of it. We got the tender here in the bottom. I'm waiting on seed, because we don't currently have a semi full of bean seed at the house yet. And planter's 1.5 miles away, and I don't know when the guy is gonna get here with my seed. So do I walk to the planter, or do I wait for him and then wait an unknown amount of time? I don't know. If I'd have taken off when I got here, or right after I got here, I would have already had the planter, and I could probably be planting right now. But I didn't, so I don't know what to do. I should have just waited for a long walk. This is a lot faster than walking 1.5 miles. I really should start throwing my bike in the back of my truck so that I have a better way to move myself around if nobody's available to help. Thank you for the seed, Mr. Cooper. Well, the monitor said that half the planter wasn't planting. I'm like, wow, that's weird. Then I look behind me, and the blower hose, or not the hose, this tubing here, it goes back to the other tank that belongs to the half planter that wasn't planting. It's not attached. That's a problem, and with the magic screwdriver, we're gonna fix it. Okay, it is attached now, so it should be fixed. Man, getting out of the cab all the time sucks. So row 26, which will be a front row, is supposedly not planting at the target rate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. This one right here. I did the standard unhook the hose from the front and shake it around maneuver, and I think that worked. Whatever stoppage we had is now gone. Now, I'm just guesstimating, but I think I have about 12 acres or so of seed left, and then we are going to switch varieties. I am putting some more fuel in this 520, and then we're going to go work some ground. I've gotten 145 acres planted for the day so far, and I'm going to go work 180 acres and then finish planting the other 40 that are left in the big field. I finally got home at about 1 o'clock last night. Planters full, fueled up, everything ready to go. I got about 1,900 pounds of seed on the tender. And I got just about 100 acres to work before I can start planting for the day. And if everything goes according to my plan, I should get like 235 acres planted today, but it's more likely to just be 190. As I found out, I can only do so much in a day, because if you try to do too much, you end up out until 1 o'clock and up at 7 or whatever silly hour, and you're tired, and when you're tired you make mistakes because you're not all there, and when you make mistakes that costs money. Yep, we got the whole crew down here, which is me, and I got my pickup there on the seed tender, 345 and the 1795, the 520 with the tuning, and the Diamond Harrow. I'm running at about 9.5 miles an hour, and I'm using the Selecto speed here with this little dial on the shifter, and that works really, really well. I've almost got the first ground that I want to worked, and just got to do end rows, and I hopefully will be planting by noon, 12:30, 12:45, somewhere in there. There's 180 acres here. Right here that I want to plant, or 190 I guess, and then there's 45 more over there somewhere, but that's a second priority. If I get to it today, great. If I don't, well, that's okay too. But everything is going pretty smooth down here. It's working down really nice. I am doing a skip pass method of working this ground because the corn stalks are fine enough that when you turn around, like if you turn around too short, they will ball up in front of the chain, and it makes a giant mess. I'll show you a couple spots where it's happened, and I can't have that because I had to plant over it yesterday where J-Dog worked. He didn't know, or he didn't know how to deal with it, so I had to plant over it, and that was not fun. And if I had known it was going to be that bad, I would have went and tried to knock them down a little bit with the Diamond Harrow, but I didn't, so here I am. But anyways, this is the last straight row, and then we have end rows. Pretty smooth. Thank you to my man Cooper bringing me the seed again. It's a little sticky over here along the edge. I just hope I can get out of here. That was very close to being very, very bad. All of this dirt is on top of this wheel here, wedged between the wheel and the rest of the planter. I'm amazed that there's no significant mud in the gauge wheels or in the seed tubes. Like, I'm actually amazed. When I lay out my end rows, I like to go a little bit slower than I do in the field. This example is a pretty good one, just because this is a nice straight edge to follow. Got my marker thrown down over there so I know where to be for my next pass of end rows. And also, important to note, don't hit the bridges. Those are important. My total for today is, right now, 100 and something acres worked and 116 acres planted. Hopefully by the end of the day we're going to have 145-ish acres worked and 235 planted. But that's a pretty ambitious goal. I also have like other stuff to do, like go to sleep. That's pretty important as well. Right there is an example of what the diamond harrow is doing, where it was balling up with residue, and there's some remains of it out here, but just giant piles of corn stalks. Not exactly ideal planting conditions. And yes, I do still use my markers. It's not that we don't have the adaptive curve, it's that I don't care. I just finished what we call the Four Corners field here, and I'm gonna head back into the North Blacktop field that we got down here. And we call it that because there's two blacktop fields, and this is the north one. And could you guess why we call it the Four Corners field, the Four Corners field? Oh, if you're local and you know where this place is on a map, well, I guess you know. But this is my favorite time of night, when the sun's hanging just about right there, and the wind's nice and calm, and it's just real pretty outside. Focus, camera, focus. Just really nice time of day. We're gonna get back up to here to the top of the ditch and hop across and continue to plant. Sometimes you just have to step out and admire the environment that you're working in and the stuff that you're working with, the people you're working around. Case in point. Looks like we have a coyote running across the field here in search of some mouses or mice. It's Monday morning, and real quick before I head back to Columbia, I'm going to move the 520 and the 8345 all the way up there to that little clump of trees off in the distance. Right now they're just sitting in the field because I had nowhere else to park them and didn't have anyone to help me move around yesterday. Okay, things are parked. Planters over there between the bins in the shed. Diamond harrows out in the field, away from everything. Sweet corn patch is nearly ready to be planted. Just hit it one more time with the diamond harrow, and my man Jared and I are gonna get it planted. It was definitely a big weekend. Got 520 acres of beans planted and 180 acres of ground work, 190 acres of ground work. That's pretty good. Of course, we can't get away from this video without our weekly May good girl content and Quandale, the kitty. Come here. And yes, the cow is still alive. These darn farmers taking up the whole road. I just can't believe it. Whoever's driving that sprayer here south of Monroe City, they're being really courteous. More courteous than I usually am driving equipment down the road. Here's something that you don't see often anymore. A literal sprayer truck. It's a 1-ton pickup on a taller running gear. This is another lazy video ending. Didn't get a chance to do anything meaningful yesterday at work, so thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, you should subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.